actually goes live. So here it goes. All right. Yeah. And we are live. Welcome, everybody. All right. Do you want to welcome to the Alberta Protect Alberta's Rockies and Headwaters concert series number 7.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes. Do you want to do that today? Or...
Nope.
Nope. No, it's all me. All right. So we're going to do the land acknowledgement first. We acknowledge the traditional land on which Albertans reside today is in Treaty 6 and 7 territory and 8. We would like to thank the diverse Indigenous peoples whose ancestors' footsteps have marked this territory for centuries, such as the Nehea, Cree, the Dene, the Anishinaabe, Saulteaux, the Isga Nakota Sioux, the Nakota Sioux Stoney, and the Niitsitapi Blackfoot people, as well as the Siksika, the Kainai, the Piikani, the Stoney Nakoda, and the Tsuut'ina. We also acknowledge that this as the Métis homeland and the home of the largest concentration of Inuit south of the 60th parallel. It is a welcoming place for all people who come from around the world to share Alberta as a home. Together, we call upon all of our collective honored traditions and spirits to work in building a great province for today and for future generations. All right, our first speaker today is our federal MP here in Edmonton, Strathcona, the only non-conservative, like west of Ontario until you get to BC, right? Basically. So here she is, Heather McPherson.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thanks for having me here this evening. This is awesome. So yeah, I'm the member of Parliament for Edmonton Strathcona. My name's Heather McPherson. I'm part of the New Democrat Party, and like Jeremy said, I'm the only member of Parliament that is not a Conservative in Alberta. I'm also the only member of Parliament kind of from Winnipeg to the Rocky Mountains that's not a Conservative. And I thought today what I could do is talk to you a little bit about what we've been doing to push back on this misguided, terrible move towards mining in our Rocky Mountains. And I wanted to just, before I get started, mention that I am on Treaty 6 territory. That's where I'm joining you from. I'm in my house. We're all in our houses these days during these times. And then I also wanted to give a little bit of a sense of, I think, what we need to do in the coming weeks and months, because what we do in the next few weeks is going to be really, really important if we are actually going to protect our Rocky Mountains. You know, all of you on the call or watching today know that the situation that we are in. We know that our Rocky Mountains are at risk. We know that that the current Alberta government has prioritized coal mining over all of the things that we hold dear, the Rocky Mountains, the water, the wildlife, all of these pieces that make Alberta so special and so wonderful. And so we've got to do whatever we can to stop that. So from where I'm sitting right now, the federal government is in fact one of our biggest allies to put a stop to what's happening in the Eastern Slopes. And I say that knowing that I'm not very confident that Jason Kenney and the UCP government is listening to us. I'm not very confident that they are going to take the right steps and do the right thing to stop coal mining at this time. Now, I don't want to be terribly partisan. I don't want to be this issue is something that I know covers a whole range of people. You know, it doesn't matter whether you find yourself more on the left side of the political spectrum, more on the right, more in the center. I think all Albertans can recognize that our Rocky Mountains are one of our cherished legacies. Our fresh water is one of our cherished legacies. And those are things we can't recover. We can't get back if we lose. So it's not like we can make a mistake and then fix it. This is not a mistake we can fix. So it's really important that we take this action. And because I'm not convinced that our current provincial government is going to do what we're demanding or do what people are demanding, The federal government is one of the pathways I think we really can't forget about. And I'll tell you a few things that have been done, and then I'll tell you a little bit about what I think you all could help me do. So, first of all, we've been reaching out to Minister Wilkinson now for a number of months. I've had meetings with him. I've raised the issue with him. If you don't know, he's the Minister of the Environment and Climate Change. He's actually a pretty good advocate for us because he is in fact a selenium scientist. So he is a scientist. Before he became a politician, he was a scientist that studied selenium, that studied water poisons and whatnot that come from coal mining. So he's got a really strong understanding, a good knowledge of that. We've met with him a number of times. I've asked him questions within the House of Commons during question period. I've raised it in the House of Commons during debate. I've called members of Parliament from other parties to talk to them about that. So people are becoming more aware of this issue. We've also pressed the federal government to look at the Department of Fisheries and Oceans. We've pressed them to look at the impacts of this coal mine on fish and the waterways and habitat that support fish. And so that's also been something that they've done. They've done a briefing with us. They've done some work around that, and we're basically just letting them know that we're keeping our eye on them, that we're going to be paying attention. And then, of course, I was so honored to be able to table the petition that 15,000 Albertans, 18,000 Canadians had signed in the House of Commons. So we were able to table that, and we got a great response from it. Latasha Kaffrobe and many of the folks that have been on the front lines of this fight will tell you we got a response that said that basically the minister has heard us, that he is asking that this be an official ask for an assessment within the Assessment Act. This is an important piece of work. It starts to get a little into the weeds, but just so you know that the petition actually did do an awful lot of good and will result in more action. In addition, I brought forward some legislation into the House of Commons. So I have brought forward a motion asking the federal government to have oversight over all coal projects that happen in our Rocky Mountains. So right now, many of you will know that unless a coal project is over 5,000 tons a day, the federal government doesn't do a needs assessment on it. So what happens is a lot of these companies like Tent Mountain, for example, are sliding right under that level. So that's, I think, 25 tons per day less than that 5,000, so that they slide under. And what I'm saying is that it actually needs, every coal project should have assessment, because every coal project has an impact on our water, an impact on our endangered species, and impacts outside of our borders as well. So those are some of the pieces that are sort of moving at the federal level, and it's important that we keep the pressure on, because what happens is in the middle of May, so in only a couple weeks, the Tent Mountain decision will come forward, and then on June 18th, the Grassy Mountain decision will happen. So the government will get a report back from the joint panel that looked at Grassy Mountain. It'll get it back on the 18th of June. It will go to the minister, and then the minister will make a recommendation to cabinet. Now, I know this is not Saturday night talk. This is super in depth, but basically when he gets that report, the recommendation he takes to cabinet will then determine whether or not the mine can go forward with restrictions, whether the mine can go forward unfettered, or whether the mine cannot go forward for Grassy Mountains. So what I'd like to ask all of you, and I'm going to be continuing to push in the House and trying to raise awareness as much as I can, is I would like all of you to make sure that you write to Minister Wilkinson and let him know that Albertans do not want this, that this is not something that Albertans want. You need to write to all of the cabinet ministers so that they understand when they get something, that when they're sitting around that cabinet table making a decision about what happens in our Rocky Mountains, that they are hearing from Albertans. So they need to know this is not something that we are supportive of. The next thing is you should write to your member of parliament, and you should write to all of the members of parliament that are downstream too. So I'm really focusing right now on some of the members of parliament in Saskatchewan. You know, they have a lot to risk there as well, and I'm really hopeful that many of our members of parliament who have not stood up yet, who have not spoken against coal mining yet, will be prepared to do so in the coming weeks. And I think we have every right to demand that our members of parliament represent our wishes, and so it's important that they are hearing from you. So that's a bit of a scan, and I want you to know that I recognize as the only non-conservative member of parliament in the House of Commons that I will likely be the only member of parliament that is really going to be pushing this. So I want you to all know that I'm here for this. I am going to do everything I possibly can. I am trying to write some private member legislation that will further our protections for our Rocky Mountains. And if you want to reach out to me, I don't care if you live in Edmonton, Strathcona, if you're from anywhere in Alberta, feel free to reach out to my office. Feel free to contact me, and if there's anything more I can do, I'll work on in the House of Commons on that side. But if there's anything else that I can help with, I'm here. I'm happy to do so. I grew up in those Rocky Mountains. I come from a long line of Albertans that cherish the natural beauty, the water, the wildlife that we have in this province, and I'm prepared to fight the long fight for this one. Thank you. Thanks for letting me join you tonight.
Thank you. That was great. I just have a quick question. So if somebody's looking for the addresses, obviously, like there's a federal government website that's got all the MPs' addresses and the cabinet ministers and stuff. Is it better to email them, or a physical letter, or a phone call, or what do you think is the most effective way to reach them?
So I would say that it doesn't really matter anymore between a letter and an email. People don't, there was a time when a written letter was seen as better. I don't think that's the case anymore. An email's faster. I would send an email. That would be the fastest route, but phoning them is also great. I mean, they record those phone calls. Those phone calls are important. Every member of parliament recognizes that if you get a phone call, that represents, hundreds of constituents that did not phone you, but that have the same view. And for us right now, the big focus should be on Minister Wilkinson and the cabinet members, because they're the ones that actually ultimately will make this decision.
Okay.
And is it clear from the website who the cabinet ministers are when we go to the government website, or will we have to do a little bit of research?
It should be, and I can actually share that information. Maybe I can put it up on my website on Monday, but basically it would be the key ones you want to be thinking about are things like Minister Wilkinson. He's the Minister of Environment and Climate Change. Minister O'Regan, that's the Minister of Natural Resources. And then Minister, oh my gosh, I've lost her name now. Department of Fisheries and Oceans, Jones.
Yeah.
I can't remember now. Anyway, those would be the ones that would be key, but all of them. And the Prime Minister, we don't have Liberals in Alberta at the moment. And so we need to make sure that they still hear us, even though we don't have a representative from their party. Nobody in the Liberal Party is from Alberta. Nobody sitting at that cabinet table is from Alberta. So we need to make sure that they are hearing our voices in other ways.
Okay.
Very useful perspective. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yes, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
All right. So we will. Yeah, and if anybody has any questions, you can post them in the chat. So Heather, do you have the YouTube link for the show?
I don't. So if there are any questions, if you guys could let me know what they
are.
Well,
here's what we'll do. We'll get the next section of the show going, and then I can send you that so you can log on to the YouTube and answer any questions right there.
Sure, yeah, and I'm here. I'm here for all of the rest of the show. So if there's any questions you want me to answer, just wave at me.
Perfect. Sounds good. So you people in the audience, you know what to do. And moving along, our next guest is an artist from up in the Yukon. not directly affected by these coal mines, but he's got pretty good perspective on what goes on because there's a lot of mining up there, and he's right in the top end of the mountain. So his name is Gordy Gentry, and he has sent us a video.
Hey everybody, hope this finds you well. Thanks for listening to me. My name is Gordy Gentry. I'm coming to you from Whitehorse, Yukon. I'm going to play a couple songs, and I hope you enjoy them. Little boy, your fever's high. Hope you sleep through the night. There's a wolf, there's a crow. That's a lot you should know. Born between everything you can undo or repeat. If they take you from me, that won't change history. Little boy, get a Quetzalcoatl. Little boy, get a Quetzalcoatl. Get a Quetzalcoatl. Get a Quetzalcoatl. Do they know your favorite color? How you love both your mothers with a squeak of your voice, lips crack without choice. Someday, if you're older, hope you climb on my shoulder. If they take you from me, that won't change history. That's the truth. Please be kind. Leave the devil in his mind. Little girl, Shakutsko. Little girl, Shakutsko. 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 There's no doubt you got us colorblind, wrapped in trust. Cut the willow, smoke the fish, taste another, pop a kiss. We believe that your life should never fall like dice. If they take you from me, that won't change history. That's the truth. Please be kind. Leave the devil in his mind. Let your world have no curls. Let your heart be heard. Every child, just the car. Every child, Erika, just the car. Erika. That's a new song off my record that's coming out in September. It's called Mean Old World. The record's called Mean Old World. That's called Every Child. I'm really honored to be playing a couple songs for you. I think it's really important what you guys are doing. I met my wife actually in southern Alberta on a hike just outside of Waterton National Park, and it's always been a special place, that whole area. Any all over. Every chance I get to step out of my vehicle and walk into the woods when I'm down in that country. It's an honor, and it'd be even bigger honor to still be able to do that and drink some water. I think it's really important to note that these coal mines will not increase the value of your water. So I'm really, really hopeful that making this kind of noise will be really helpful. Sorry, hang on a second. Just gonna switch it up here. I'm gonna play another new song and see you off. I wish you guys all the best, and thanks for including me. My name is Gordy. If you want to find any of my music, you can online. It's pretty easy to do that. I think you all know how to do that. And I hope you're all doing well wherever you are. They say two or certain things can be twice as nice, but if you mess around, start rolling the dice, well, you better lose your phone and hide all your guns. You'll have two jobs to do, son, when you can barely do one. If you ever get to, you better see it through, 'cause the damage it'll do will be the death of you. Make it so wild and free till domesticity don't you ever get to. Just spend all your time jumping back and forth with your head on crooked, not knowing south from north. Meanwhile, the boat think you're horsing around. Cause when they look for you, that's what they'll do. You can never be found. Well, you never have cash, stuck taking out the trash. Every time you turn around, there's 4 hands in your stash. But late at night, you can't hold them both tight. There's no playing calling on the wrong name. That's a losing fight. If you ever get to, you better see it through, 'cause the damage it'll do will be the death of you. Make it so wild and free till domesticity don't you ever get to. They think it's so wild and free till domesticity becomes eternity. With insanity comes reality. Don't buy an SUV or put coals in your water to drink, or you'll die early. Thank you.
Gordy
we're-
Tentry.
Yeah.
We're both go have such a good show.
Words to live by: don't put coal in your water, or you'll die early. Go ahead.
Well, and we encourage everyone to check out the artist website. Everyone has music and merchandise to sell. So if you like someone, go check them out. And if they have an email list, you can often sign up and then hear about what they're doing.
And the day is coming when touring will come back. We're both vaccinated. The taps are opening on the vaccination this week. So and they're flowing into the country now in the millions. So the end is in sight. We're not there yet. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. So.
And next up, another great musical artist.
Yes, a return engagement, because she had such a good time last time. Anne Vereen, are you there? You're muted. You gotta unmute. Yeah.
Unmute. Okay.
There you go. All right, and I will spotlight you for everybody.
What's that?
I'm spotlighting you so everybody sees you and not us.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just pretend I'm talking to you. I am talking to you.
Yes. All right, welcome back.
Thank you for coming back. Yeah, I had some technical issues the last time that made my performance on your guys' end not the same as it was on my end. I realized later when I checked it out online that I was like, oh God. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to try to redeem myself and having a sound check with me yesterday.
Yes, well, it's just a trick to get to hear more of you.
Well, okay, worked. I'm going to play a song, a title track off my new album. The album's not released yet, but the single is. Well, the album is available on my website, but otherwise it is not. And then I'll play the song that I promised I would play after that. Everybody thanks if you were clapping, maybe. I'm still not used to the not any response after. But I will get used to it eventually. But maybe I don't have to. Maybe we'll have shows soon. I want to just introduce this next song before I play it. I promised today online that I would play it. And the song was not intended to be released publicly. It was a birthday present from my mom about, I think, 12 years ago. And it's a story about her and her mom, my grandma, my Oma. And because it was only meant to be just a private birthday present, I wrote it this specific story that my mom had told to me in the song. And then my mom, when she got it, she really liked the song and strongly emphasized / forced me to release it. Let's just say that she convinced me to release it publicly, and that meant that I have to now always preface it with the story, which is the backdrop to the song, which takes longer to tell than the song itself. But I've had hundreds and hundreds of opportunities to tell the story on stage, and now I'm telling it in my own attic on a Zoom. And so the story is that my Oma immigrated to Canada right after World War I, and against her will. It wasn't her husband's desire was to immigrate, but hers wasn't. But let's just say it wasn't quite a very feminist family, and she found herself on a boat immigrating with 2 trunks and $2 and 5 kids, and had a tough life financially in other ways upon arriving in Canada. And her character was, I think, already very tough, having survived World War II, and her having to raise her own siblings because her parents weren't around. Her mom died when she was young, and so but her having to immigrate made her even a tougher woman, and her way of coping in life was to really take that to the extremes, and including that she didn't have a lot of tolerance or patience or understanding or empathy for people who were not tough. And the mom, who was born shortly after the family immigrated, is tough also, I think, but she has this thing where it could be that she was born with an extra tear duct. That's my theory anyway, because she cries more than almost anybody I know. And at a whole bunch of different circumstances, she cries when things are sad, like we all do, but she also cries when she's laughing really hard. She also cries when she thinks something is, when she's very happy about something. She cries at things that are only semi-sad. For example, long-distance phone call commercials. Growing up, we would be like, "Mom, are you crying?" She, "Oh, yes." So she, so there's that. So when she first left home to go to university, my Oma said to her very sternly, "If you don't cry when you leave, I'll give you $1." And so my mom tried really hard to be brave and not cry, and but as she was waving goodbye down the dirt road, her brothers were driving her off, she did start to cry, and she reached into her pocket to get Kleenex, and inside she found a $1 bill that my Oma had put there. So that became a tradition that every time my mom visited and was leaving again, my Oma would say, "If you don't cry when you leave, I'll give you $1." And my mom would try not to cry, but she would end up crying. She'd reach into her pocket and she found $1. And this is what I always say, is that that's how my mom became a millionaire. But that's not true, because she didn't visit a million times. Anyway, that's to say that that's the story that I wrote the song behind, and now you know why I was hesitant to release it, because it's long. But I will now play the song that is shorter than the whole story. And and I'm playing it because of Mother's Day. I know it's tough out there to celebrate anything really, but including Mother's Day because of the pandemic. And so this goes out to all the moms and all the people missing their moms. Stand at the end of the lane, waves goodbye, her plain Jane, and says, "You'll get $1 if you don't cry." But it never works, does it? Dusty car rumbles, she becomes a smaller dot. The tears come down, surprise. Reach for a tissue in the pocket of your jeans. Not very brave, it seems. What else is there? Dollar bill. She's got her way. She's with you still, and you might go, you might leave, over land and over seas. You will always carry $1 in a suitcase, $1 in a suitcase, $1 in a suitcase. She left her home country, married a man who made her leave against her will. 5 kids went on the way in 2 suitcases in 14 days at sea, and I was one of those suitcases still. Cooked 3 meals a day for 10, all the laundry done by hand, no plumbing till 1963, tears and laughter endlessly. And you might go, yes, you might leave, over land and over seas. You will always carry $1 in a suitcase, $1 in a suitcase. You'll be brave, yes, you'll be tough. Don't you cry, you don't have enough. If you always carry $1 in a suitcase, $1 in a suitcase, $1 in a suitcase. And the years go by, and everybody waves goodbye, following their dreams. And she stands at the end of the lane and waits until they reach into the pockets of their jeans. And you might go, yes, you might leave, over land and over sea. You will always carry. You'll be brave, yes, you'll be tough. Don't you cry, you'll have enough. If you always carry. You might go, yes, you might leave, over land and over seas. You will always carry. You'll be brave, yes, you'll be tough. Don't you cry, you'll have enough. If you always carry $1 in a suitcase, $1 in a suitcase, $1 in a suitcase, $1 in a suitcase. Happy Mother's Day, everybody, and take care and stay safe. Thanks.
Thanks, Anne. We're so lucky that you share your music with us.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for having me on back. Yes, and it was really fun. And sorry.
And the new,
story.
say that again. We just lost you for a sec.
Oh, well, I just, yeah, I know there's not that much music compared to talking, but sorry.
No, we loved it. And looking forward to seeing you again live. It's always a pleasure. And the video for Everybody Matters looks really good. So
Oh, thanks.
yeah, that's the single that's out.
What's that?
That's the single, right? That's out.
And I was about to say I highly recommend, for biased reasons, that everyone check it out.
I agree.
I concur.
Thanks for having me back, and also thanks for putting on these concerts and raising awareness and fundraising for such an important thing. I didn't really say much about the actual cause, but I obviously think that it's very important, and you guys rock. Thanks.
Thanks, Ann.
All right, thanks, Ann.
Bye.
So speaking of which, part of the reasons we're doing these is to raise awareness and give you ideas of how you can help stop the coal mining. And it starting to sound like a broken record after 7 times, but right politicians. That's basically what we're left with right now. So,
but after tonight, we have
some specific one, not just any politician, but this week focus on the federal cabinet ministers. Wendy, you posted in the chat how to find them.
Oh, I posted how to find the cabinet, but yeah, it's easy to find.
Yeah. So write them all. Write 1 a day. Write 2 a day. Let them know what you think about coal mining in the Rockies. I don't like it. I don't think you do. Also, preaching to the choir here, but there's another petition, the old Coal's Not Cool petition. If you haven't signed it yet, please go to coalsnotcool.ca and sign that petition. It's got its own web address, but it's actually part of the Grosvenor website. Separate part. Just go there, sign the petition, check both check boxes, and share it with everybody you know, please. Oh yes, and the other aspect was the fundraising. We're on number 7 here. So before the show, I added up the total from the first 6. So we're at $9,566.62 officially collected through the side door tickets. So all of that has gone into either the Pakisco Landowners Group GoFundMe, or Livingston Landowners, or the Niitsitapi Water Protectors, plus a little bit more, because when it comes time to transfer the funds, I usually round up a little bit. So I can't tell you exactly how much that is. I just round it up and send it along. And we know there's been other donations as a result of the concert that don't come through side door. They just go straight to the GoFundMe's. So that's good. Yeah. We're doing good work here. Yeah, you, me, all of us together, and we are having an effect that can be hard to gauge when you're isolated by yourself, but clearly we are having an effect. They're reacting to us, so that's good. Keep it up. Keep pushing. Our next guest is another couple of Alberta artists. We actually saw them at one of the last concerts we were at live. We drove down to Red Deer to catch Whitehorse when they played there just before everything shut down. Yeah. So, and they were on the way back from Calgary. They stopped in to see the show too. It's a really good show. With that, here's the Rural Roots. Oh, that's not what I want. Just a second. That's Gordy. There we go. All right. Now let's see if we can find it. There we go. The Rural Roots, everybody.
And welcome to this portion of the Headwaters Protection Concert Series, graciously and generously brought to us by Wendy, Jeremy, and everybody over at the Grosvenor.
Again, thank you very much. It's our pleasure. And this one's called Love Me Better. 26 in your mind. You think it's so great until you find out there's more than the boy next door. And another, you get my attention, yeah, you open my eyes. Lay back, step back, had to make you mine. No, I've never seen the sky shine like this, no, not ever. Yeah, it's flowers, yeah, it's magic, call it crazy, yeah, we have it. You're like lightning, we make thunder, ain't no doubt you take me higher. You make every day a 10 when we're together, 'cause you love me better. Something about your smile always gets me going, like a big summer song on the open road, and your hands reaching over, touching mine. Yeah, it's flowers, yeah, it's magic, call it crazy, yeah, we have it. You're like lightning, we make thunder, ain't no doubt you take me higher. You make every day a 10 when we're together, 'cause you love me better, you love me better, better than a Romeo left Juliet. You love me better, you love me better. Yeah, it's flowers, yeah, it's magic, call it crazy, yeah, we have it. You're like lightning, we make thunder, ain't no doubt you take me higher. You make every day a 10 when we're together. You make every day a 10 when we're together, 'cause you love me better, you love me better, yeah, you love me better, you love me better. All right, well, so one more of our own. This one is perfect for the summer, actually. It's called Sweet Spot. Little white lights, backyard patio, some old school station on the radio, spinning around in her bare feet, slow motion dancing, you're holding on to me. It's so easy, summertime breezy, just soak up every minute, 'cause we're in and out, honey. It's butterflies and then the blue skies. I don't know what it is that we got, but I know we hit the sweet spot. Yeah, it's a melted kiss with nowhere to go. It's a cotton candy sunset, put on a show. We don't need a wish on a falling star. We got everything that we need where we are. It's so easy, summertime breezy, just soak up every minute, 'cause we're in and out, honey. It's butterflies within the blue skies. I don't know what it is that we got, but I know
baby. Cool. All right, folks, you know what? Simply put, you know, these are our Rocky Mountains. I mean, I think we share in the belief that it's all of our responsibility to cherish and to protect this land from simply being sold off without any regard or lack of following, you know, the proper bureaucratic processes. Like, it doesn't make any sense, and it's really good. We appreciate everybody here for taking the time to share and simply just care about what's going on. It's a huge appreciation that we all have to have, and it's really been our treat. We treasure it very much, and to everybody, you know, thanks for this whole the Mountains Not Mines initiative. It's really cool.
Bringing awareness. Thank you. This land is your land. This land is my land. From Buena Vista to Vancouver Island, from the Arctic circles to the Great Lake waters. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From Buena Vista to Vancouver Island, from the Arctic Circle to the Great Lake waters. This land was made for you and me. I roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the fir-clad forest of a mighty mountain, and all around me a voice was calling. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From Buena Vista to Vancouver Island, from the Arctic circles to the Great Lake waters. This land was made for you and me. The sun was shining, and I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving, and the cloud was rolling, as the fog was lifting, a voice was chanting. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From Buena Vista to Vancouver Island, from the Arctic circles to the Great Lake waters. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From Buena Vista to Vancouver Island, from the Arctic Circle to the Great Lake waters. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me.
Cheers.
Thanks to the Rural Roots.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. So we have some questions that were posted in the chat. And we still have Heather McPherson in on the Zoom, so she can answer the questions for you live. I hadn't thought of that before, but she did.
So it's good to keep smart people around.
Yes.
Well, I wasn't going to go anywhere. That was awesome to listen to. I mean, I miss live music so much. I'm sure everybody does, but if I can only get Zooms on a Saturday night, I'll take them. That was awesome. That was great. And we're gonna be in concert hall soon. We'll get there. Yeah, I just noticed there were a couple questions, so I'm happy to just throw a few ideas at you. I mean, I don't have all the answers, but I'm happy to chat with, share a little bit of my thoughts on it. And then, you know, if people have ideas for me, or if they have things that they'd like me to work on, I'm also happy to do that. But I know that one of the questions came from Laura. Laura was asking if there was anything in particular, I guess, that we should be including in letters to Mr. Wilkinson and to the cabinet and to the prime minister. So when I think about that, I think about, like, there's two things. There's the legislative side of things. So the federal government has oversight when anything impacts waterways or water, when anything impacts, any project impacts endangered species. So that's there's two of those ones that are quite key for us. So there's some fish habitat and fish species that are endangered that will be deeply impacted by this coal mining. So that's one area where the federal government has jurisdiction. They have to step in. Legally, they're required to step in if there's impacts on fisheries. And then the other one is grizzly bears. So the Alberta government planned to do a grizzly bear assessment. I don't think they've done that yet. So there's some work that we can do around there. When endangered species and when fisheries and oceans are impacted, the federal government has some oversight. The other one that's kind of interesting is that if it goes over provincial borders, it also becomes a federal issue really fast. And the way that some of these mines are set up, it will impact cross-border. So that might be something. I put a couple of the letters that I've written to Minister Wilkinson up on the chat, just so that if you want to see some of the things that I put in there that you want to steal or copy or get more information about, feel free. That's a you know, we've got a team that's working on this and doing the research. So if you want to read through those to get ideas, that would be a good thing. That's the first part. That's the sort of the black and white piece. The other piece, though, is what I've been trying to sort of gently explain is that because Albertans don't want this, there is, and I know this is not necessarily, you know, you don't want to think that these things impact politicians' decisions, but I think we need to cover all our bases, and we need to make sure that the Liberal Party understands that there is opportunity, I guess, if they are supporting Albertans, if they are supporting Albertans, what Albertans want, that Albertans will see that and see that support. I mean, it's kind of the other side of the coin that I've been trying to explain to Minister Wilkinson, that there is no political lose here for them, because who was going to win with this was an Australian mining company. Like there isn't even the jobs here to justify. I mean, there's never a reason to justify ruining our natural habitat, but the fact that there isn't even an economic argument really to be made. So that's one piece. The other really quick thing I'll say too is that there is some options there, and what I was also suggesting is that if the minister can't shut the project down, which is our first priority, which is what we'd like to see, is that coal mining gets shut down, that we do want to see the minister make it very, very difficult for these mines to do this work. So that we want to make sure that the oversight, the obligations imposed, the restrictions imposed make it so difficult to do these projects that mining companies will say it's not worth our time. So that's another piece of that I think just to keep in mind. But I did put those letters out there. And then this person, which I assume we all are, but their tagline was, this person asked, do you think the Liberals are ready to do this? The Liberals right now are gearing up for an election. There's no doubt of that. We're really hoping it doesn't come while we're still in the middle of the third wave. We're really hoping this doesn't come while we're all waiting for our vaccinations. But we know it is coming, and it's not going to be in 2 years. It's going to be in the next few months. So knowing that, the Liberals are kind of on campaign mode right now. So we are able to push them. We know the last election was an election that for the first time the environment was one of the key issues. It's going to be again, and the Liberals would like to be able to say that they are the party that is supporting the environment. Now, in my partisan way, I will say that I'm not sure it's the actions meet the rhetoric, but this is an opportunity for us to say to the government, if you're wanting to be a climate leader, if you're wanting to be, to follow up your words with actions, now's the time, because coal is not this. I mean, and this is not coal is not a climate leader's thing. This is not something that anyone who's actually fighting for climate change is going to get behind. So those would be my two answers, I guess, to those two questions. I think those were the only two. Jeremy, was there any other questions that I missed?
Those were the two that I saw.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I put in my email, so email me if you have any other questions. And yeah, you guys are amazing for putting these concerts on. You're all amazing for taking the time to care so much about our province and about our natural resources. So thank you so much.
And thank you for your leadership on this.
Yeah, it helps when a bunch of people step up and take a leadership role and all pull together in the same direction.
It also helps when politicians talk to us. We had Mayor Snodgrass on one of our earlier shows, and that was really good to hear.
Yeah, that was great to get his perspective on what it's like from his level talking to the provincial government.
Yeah.
So and gave us a little bit of hope that there's actually a human being there. Okay. What's next? All right. Let me just fix this. So the next is another musical group called Black Snake Moan. They have 2 videos for us. And this is a different way of sharing videos than normal. Well, let's see if I can make it work. I don't want to do that one first. I want to do, and this is where it gets tricky. That's not what I want. Nope. Okay. Try again. Nope, that's not it. One more try. Third tries the charm. That's not the one. Come on. That's not it. There it is. That's not it. All right. Where are you? Okay, I'm gonna have to do this the old school way. Give me 1 second here. I need to open this. Okay. All right. There you can get the opening chords. Now let me share it with you. Where is it? Where did it go? All right. Here we go. This is the first song from Black Snake Moan.
Whatever happened to the dreams we used to share? Did they just slip away?
Oh, no. Just a second. All right. That was the first video from Black Snake Moan. We've got another. This isn't it. Let me just back up.
And Jeremy just told me that Black Snake Moan
Which we just heard.
wrote the next song just for the coal mine issue.
Yeah, and I just have to cue it up here. I gotta focus for a minute. Oh, I just dislike when I do this. Yes, I know. Stop muttering. Okay, so this next song, like she said, written specifically for this, it's called "Tear the Mountain Down." Black Snake Moan. And come on, Zoom. Come on back, Zoom. All right. Here it comes.
Oh, so it's all good.
Mountain down.
All right.
Protest music, not.
Oh, just, oh, YouTube. All right, there we go. That's got me twice now in the same show. A new way of sharing a video. It worked eventually, sort of, kind of. What were you gonna say? Protest music.
Oh, not just for folk music.
Yes,
That was a great video.
that was. And that was Black Snake Moan. Thank you for joining us, Black Snake Moan.
Yes, thank you.
And we have, so I'm just going to say a quick thing about this. We've been really lucky with the series of shows. This is like number 7. And considering everything that's going on, we've been really lucky. And most people who have committed to do it have been able to show up when they needed to show up. But with everything going on, sometimes life happens. And this show, we got hit with several people who at the last minute weren't able to actually do it. So they'll be on other shows. So if you're like waiting for Dennis Bowman or Tyler Allen and Dana, yeah, anyone who is on the poster, you're thinking who's going to be here, we might have to push them off to another show. I know, well, Tyler Allen and Dana will be back in 2 weeks for sure. Depends on what happens with Dennis and Ben Rose. They hopefully will be able to do a show in the future. But yeah, so we're going to have a bit of a shorter show. We have one artist left for you.
And live,
which is great. And last but not least, certainly, the great Chris Demeanor from Calgary. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, great.
Excellent. Thanks for having me here tonight.
thank you for playing.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I learned a whole lot. I'm going to won't talk too much about the issue because I'll just get angry. So I'm going to express my opinions through a protest song I wrote last week for the Joe Cece beer tasting fundraiser. And so it's a drinking song. So if anybody has a Saturday night beverage, please feel free to raise it with me. There, look at that, aren't you? All those great Edmonton microbreweries. Here we go. Well, I drink because the UCP has driven me to misery. I drink because the bus is being driven by a guy who doesn't even try to like us. He tried to sell the parks, had to stop him. The new curriculum, we gotta stop him. I think he stole it from a school curriculum from 1897 Arkansas. I drank because the UCP has driven me to misery. I drank because the war room is a sinister and anti-democratic enterprise. Childcare, we don't care. We only want you if you're fossilized. We need a beautiful place so we can make it worse by adding chump change to a billionaire Australian mining magnate's already loaded purse. I drink because I can't fathom their pathological disdain for the natural world. I drink because they're out of step, out of touch, and only motivated by the buck. It's infuriating, it's deflating, it's psychically debilitating, and the only thing that keeps me fighting on is thinking about drinking when they're voted out and gone. And then maybe we can drink together, live in an Alberta that's actually better. Let's agree that there's a difference between climate change and weather. Please, let's drink to better times ahead. Oh, let's drink to better times ahead. All right. So I guess that was called I Drink, which could probably apply to a lot of things. Drink safely, responsibly. I know it's tempting to go overboard at these times, because there's very little relief in reality. But try to be responsible. I'm going to do another piece that in some ways is tangentially relevant to this this struggle. It's a song called Hope. And I wrote it about 2 years ago when I was on my way out to BC to join Carolyn, Mark, and Jeff Berner for our annual May three-way tour. And we had just had a second winter here in Alberta, and it was icy and cold, and then I wanted to make it all the way to Vancouver in one stretch, and I drove, and it got nicer and nicer, and the sky opened up and it got warmer. But I got too tired to make it all the way, so I stopped in Hope. And Hope I've only ever passed by in the car. I've rarely visited it, but I decided to get a motel and stay. And this song is the tale of my glorious night alone in the city of Hope. Those golden curtains are as soft as they seem, and that full-wall photograph of Tenerife makes it feel like a holiday in Tenerife, and the king-size bed. Now we're talking, the headboard could make a tall man's coffin. Hope, I only met you, but something tells me I won't forget you. Hope, guess I better go, at least we had one night together. Hope, don't go changing, keep on being a configuration of weird motels for guys like me who aren't quite ready to face the city. The manager's out back, covered in tattoos by a charcoal fire, cooking chicken skewers that his mom brought out. In shiny red pajamas, he puts down his phone and goes back to stoking while two guys fist bump an old man smoking. Hope, I only met you, but something tells me I won't forget you. Hope, guess I better go, at least we had one night together. Hope, don't go changing, keep on being a configuration of weird motels for guys like me who aren't quite ready to face the city. Hope, don't let it bring you down when the guidebook says commuter town. If there was justice and all were equal, smallpox would claim 2/3 of your people. Hope, hope, hope. Well, I went across the street and bought Chinese special chow mein and chicken with black beans. Took off my socks and watched that cable TV, cracked a beer and read my fortune and played safe this month, and it will be a great one. Hope, I only met you, but something tells me I won't forget you. Hope, guess I better go, at least we had one night together. Hope, don't go changing, keep on being a configuration of weird motels for guys like me who aren't quite ready to face the city. Hope, I only met you, but something tells me I won't forget you. Hope, hope, All right. That was Hope. Cool. Well, I'll do one more, maybe?
Oh, please.
Oh, please, yes.
The chat's going crazy. People love it.
To bring her home? Okay.
And drink into the UCP even. People like that one.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, well, I'm gonna do a song for my partner Deborah. She's been doing a lot in the coal fight. She's been mobilizing a lot of letter writing campaigns and going door to door and sending flyers and joining groups in town. She and I are expecting our first child in July, and there's something a little frightening about the thought of our child experiencing her first summer in an environment dense with smoke caused by climate change, caused by the use of fossil fuels such as coal. So it's an issue that I mean, obviously it means a lot to a lot of people for a number of different reasons, but that's just one of the many reasons that we're concerned about it. So I wrote this song last year, and it's about finding solace from eco-anxiety in the middle of the night by burying your face in your partner's hair. And it's called Nose in the Straw. It's for Deborah, who's sitting on the stairs watching the show. By the second week of the quarantine, she stopped washing her hair. She would never find a better time for the natural oils to take over. And when she wakes up with the weight on her chest, to find me similarly silently screaming, oh, what do you know? I just put my nose in the straw and she sleeps again. Well, she reads the news in a magazine. I try not to spoil the surprise, and she reads me, rolls over and sighs. I bury the lies in her tango, and when I wake up with a weight on my chest, find her quietly counting dictatorship. So what do you know? I just put my nose in the straw and I sleep again. We make broth from the bones. She sold that screenplay. We went to Spain. She tosses her mane in the aftermath. I dance behind with a goblet of water, thinking, yeah, it's gotta get bad before it gets better. when we wake up with a weight on our chest, to find we're trying to take our minds off whatever's next. Oh, what do you know? I just put my nose in the straw and I sleep again. Oh, what do you know? I just put my nose in the straw and we sleep again. Thank you.
Oh, so beautiful.
Yes.
Make people cry.
Sorry to end on a rough note. I could do a more happy one if you want.
If you're on a roll, we'd love one more.
Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
well, I'm going to go back to the protest singer stuff because I want to do one of Jeff Berner's songs because he was one of the best protest singers in Canada right now. And he's written a lot of very specific, pointed songs about many issues. And this was one of his first really nice, laid on the line, blatant ones. And he actually wrote it specifically for the Calgary Folk Festival. He's from Vancouver, but he plays the Calgary Folk Fest pretty regularly. And he really wanted to have a sing-along where members of the Calgary audience sang this song with him. It's called The Rich Are Gonna Move to the High Ground. So we'll finish with this one. Thanks again. Wealthy people like to live near the water. They pass their real estate down to their sons and their daughters. Generations so happy, just enjoying the view. But when the water starts rising, you know what they'll do. The rich are gonna move to the high ground. The rich are gonna move to the high ground. Holy Toodle, look at your town. The rich are gonna move to the high ground. All right. Now all those singers and actors and philanthropists say the poor are at the top of their priority lists. But when the levees start breaking and the barriers fall, where will they be when we come to pay a courtesy call with their mistresses, wives, pets, children, and all at the top of a hill behind a fortified wall? 'Cause the rich are gonna move to the high ground. The rich are gonna move to the high ground. Holy Toodle, look at your town. The rich are gonna move to the high ground. Let's go! Well, now with every sad number that the scientists find, you get the feeling that some people really don't mind to see a new feudal age for the whole human race. 'Cause the rabble will finally be all back in their place. There'll be no revolution, we'll be meek as wet mouses, begging them to let our children serve in their houses. 'Cause the rich are gonna move to the high ground. The rich are gonna move to the high ground. Holy Toodle, look at your town. The rich are gonna move to the high ground. Sing along from home. The rich are gonna move to the high ground. The rich are gonna move to the high ground. Holy Toodle, we're gonna watch the poor drown. 'Cause the rich are gonna move to the high ground.
All right.
All right.
All right. You you got us singing along, and Zoom, of course, reminds us with the thing across the screen that we're muted, and we're glad that it doesn't show up blocking you on the YouTube.
I can't think of a better way to end the show. You're awesome, Chris. Yeah. Thank you. YouTube chat loved you, so thank you so much.
No worries. Yes, and thanks for doing this.
Well, and thank you for the reminder. We should recruit Jeff Berner. We had Carolyn Mark on the first show.
Oh yeah.
So he's a shoe-in.
Okay. I think he'd probably like it. So yeah, I'll send a message to him. Cool.
And thanks to your partner.
Yes,
we're all a great dog.
Everyone keep up the good fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. So now it's just us at the end with the thanks.
That was a great ending.
That was. Perfect. So thank you to Heather McPherson for joining us and giving a federal perspective, and for fighting the good fight on behalf of Western Canadians. Thank you to Gordy Tentries for his video, to Anne Brain for joining us again. Maybe if we're lucky, she'll come back for another show later. We'll see. Thank you to the Rural Roots, to Black Snake Moan, and of course to Chris Demeanor. Also, I want to thank Wendy for helping steer the ship. I want to thank Christine Berger, Marie Aiken, and Brian Taylor for helping organize the shows. We couldn't do this without their help. Yeah.
And to all of you, we wouldn't do this
all of you for watching.
All of you weren't coming.
Yes, and for the everybody who's helping fight the coal, the Kisco group, the Livingston Landowners group, the Niitsitapi Water Protectors, and everybody else, including people like Chris Demeanor's partner, who are doing what they can to stop this travesty from happening. I was going to say, watching people try and talk about it and having trouble is totally relatable. Like why this is a bad idea. It's just so unfathomably bad that it blows your mind that you have to actually come up with a reason to speak against it and to put it into words, or to try and verbalize what the Rockies mean to you as an Albertan, or even a Canadian, or anybody who has seen them, really. It's the kind of thing that gets, it comes in through your eyes and just like grabs your soul and sticks there. And it's like, why would you want to destroy that for a couple of bucks that you're never going to get that back? Anyways, it's hard to talk about without getting angry, unreasonably angry. So, but we have to stop the people who would go ahead and do that.
So join us again in 2 weeks.
After you have written everybody in the federal cabinet at least once, maybe twice.
Yes, like we heard from Heather, now's an important time.
Yeah, we have to stop Tent Mountain, stop Grassy. These are the two gateways. The companies that are trying to do this they're fronts for a larger company, but they don't have a whole lot of money by themselves. They want to start these projects to start the money rolling in to finance more. So like Montem Resources has conveniently wrapped up their exploration for the spring season just in time for the UCP to stop exploration. But they're looking for revenue to start coming in from the first mine to finance further development on a lot of acreage after that. So if we can stop the money from flowing in the first place, we can stop the second mine. So the Tent Mountain and the Grassy Mountain, those are two key projects that the federal government has some say on. please tell the federal politicians you do not want these to go ahead.
And you can see the names of the proposed mines from the provincial government's website. There's a PDF there that's like a tutorial on coal mines in Alberta. So if you're not familiar with the names of the coal mines that are proposed, I found that document to be very helpful. And of course, we're waiting for the provincial government's committee to ask us what we think. So stay tuned for that. And otherwise, let's put the pressure on the federal government.
Yes.
Okay, let's wrap up.
All right.
Okay,
Thanks, everybody.
thanks.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.